Ukrainian drone operators detected 3 Russian tanks that Russian forces were attempting to conceal. Ukrainian forces launched multiple kamikaze drones to destroy these high-value targets with precision. One by one, the targets sustained increasing damage and became increasingly vulnerable to continued strikes. Russian forces used tarpaulins and nearby vegetation in an attempt to conceal these tanks from aerial surveillance. However, the concealment proved ineffective as Ukrainian kamikaze drones repeatedly engaged the targets with accurate strikes. As the strikes continued intensely, the reconnaissance drone confirmed direct hits on the armored vehicles, which were left burning extensively. Ukrainian drone operators targeted vulnerable points beneath the turrets of the Russian tanks, triggering ammunition detonations that caused large explosions. The fireball left no doubt that the tank had been destroyed. The reconnaissance drone observed flames spreading across the battlefield as the armored vehicles continued to burn. Dry weather conditions allowed the fire to spread more easily, creating a devastating scene across the area. However, one tank was still standing and required a single strike. That strike set the tank ablaze, and the fire soon reached the ammunition storage, triggering a massive explosion. The explosion left a wide smoking crater in the ground, as though it had been struck by a meteor. Despite Russia's economy being heavily oriented towards sustaining the war in Ukraine, and tank production reportedly outpacing several NATO countries, Ukrainian forces continue to destroy an estimated 3 to over 10 tanks per day. The cost of a single Russian tank is measured in millions of dollars, placing continued pressure on production and replacement capacity. Russian forces reportedly send approximately 100 tanks to the front line each month, where they face the realities of modern warfare and the effectiveness of Ukrainian kamikaze drones. The destruction of a T-72 was recorded in April 2026 and attributed to Ukraine's 425th Scalar Regiment in Pokrovsk, marking another armored loss for Russian forces in one of the war's key frontline sectors. The video quality of modern FPV drones demonstrates how effectively they can identify, track, and engage targets in real time, enabling operators to deliver more accurate strikes. Here is similar footage from March 2026, showing Ukrainian drone operators engaging and disabling an abandoned armored personnel carrier from the side of the road. The strike was carried out with precision, fully neutralizing the vehicle and removing it from further operational use. Ukrainian drones can also be used to drop munitions on a target, and in this incident, the drone operators released 3 bombs to destroy a heavily armored Russian tank. These munitions are typically small, ranging from hand grenade size to compact anti-armor charges, designed to penetrate armored targets or eliminate infantry. In May 2026, Ukrainian FPV drone operators from the Northern Eagle unit of Ukraine's 151st Separate Mechanized Brigade destroyed a Russian T-90M tank in the Kharkiv region. Unlike the previous targets, this Russian T-90M tank remained mobile and pushed through fully grown trees as it moved forward, likely after sustaining damage that affected its control systems, visibility, or maneuverability. However, the final kamikaze drone strike completely destroyed the tank. Reconnaissance footage captured afterward clearly showed the vehicle burned out and beyond recovery. Armored vehicles on both sides of the conflict have faced growing challenges in defending against drone attacks. This has affected a wide range of equipment, including advanced platforms such as Russia's T-90M tanks and British Challenger 2 tanks operating in Ukraine. For example, the reactive armor used on various Russian tanks, including the T-80 BVM, has not always been sufficient against Ukrainian FPV and kamikaze drones. As a result, Russian crews began adding improvised anti-drone structures, often referred to as hedgehog protection. These modifications typically consist of metal frames covered with dense bundles of steel cables, wire strands, and welded mesh designed to catch or disrupt incoming drones before they reach the vehicle itself. The goal is to damage propellers, interfere with the drone's approach, or force a premature detonation away from the tank's armor. These hedgehog tanks can also be equipped with electronic warfare systems designed to interfere with drone operations. These electronic warfare systems are designed to protect armored vehicles from the growing threat of drones on the battlefield. They work by transmitting radio interference that can jam control signals, disrupt video feeds, or interfere with navigation systems used by FPV and other drones, making it more difficult for operators to guide them accurately. Costs vary widely depending on size and capability, ranging from smaller systems costing several $1,000s to larger vehicle-mounted systems that can reach tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars. These investments are made to protect armored vehicles from relatively low-cost drones, as a single accurate strike can be enough to disable or completely destroy a tank. This has created a battlefield environment where systems costing thousands or even millions can be threatened by drones that require only a fraction of that investment. Armored vehicles and military equipment increasingly require protection against drone threats on the modern battlefield. This includes support vehicles such as the German Panzer II armored recovery and repair vehicle operating in Ukraine, which has also been seen using improvised overhead protection systems similar in concept to the hedgehog structures used on some Russian vehicles. Another method used to protect military equipment is concealment and camouflage. However, as seen in multiple incidents involving Russian forces, maintaining effective concealment can become increasingly difficult when facing Ukrainian drone operators conducting aerial reconnaissance and target identification. Even during night operations, high-value air defense systems such as the short-range Panzer I have faced challenges against Ukrainian kamikaze drones, which can still identify and engage these assets under low-visibility conditions. Thick fog also presents little obstacle for kamikaze drones operating in the conflict. Despite reduced visibility conditions, operators continue to identify and engage targets using onboard cameras and guidance systems. This allows drones to maintain effectiveness even when traditional visual detection and concealment methods are significantly limited. In warfare, different systems engage one another across domains. Tanks confront tanks, fighter jets engage other fighter jets, and drones are no exception in this environment. Here, a Ukrainian drone intercepts and disables a Russian kamikaze drone using a close-range weapon. This form of engagement is known as kinetic interception, where incoming aerial threats are physically neutralized through direct impact rather than electronic disruption. Ukraine has also developed drones specifically designed to intercept and destroy Russian drones, and these systems have reportedly demonstrated a high level of effectiveness in countering aerial threats. The effectiveness of these interceptor drones has highlighted the growing role of drone versus drone combat, where relatively small aerial systems can disrupt reconnaissance missions, intercept incoming threats, and reduce the operational impact of enemy drone activity, helping protect armored vehicles and infantry on the battlefield. Another method used to counter Russian drones is direct fire engagement. In this example, a Geran 2 drone was shot down by machine gun fire from a Ukrainian helicopter. Ukrainian drone operators have also adapted drones by attaching firearms and trigger mechanisms for close-range aerial engagements. In this case, the system reportedly proved effective, with operators destroying more than 10 Russian kamikaze drones. The approach reflects an effort to use relatively low-cost solutions to counter similarly low-cost aerial threats. This single operation likely preserved significant Ukrainian resources. The same cannot be said for Russian forces, which faced multiple strikes on key facilities at the Alshevsk metallurgical plant and the substations supplying power to it. The plant's products are reportedly supplied to Ural-Vagonzavod, where military equipment for the Russian army is manufactured, including T-90M Prorov tanks and M-STAS howitzers. These incidents were reported in the city of Alshevsk, Luhansk Oblast, during March and April 2026, and formed part of one of Ukraine's most significant operations conducted during the spring phase of the war. If you stayed until the end, feel free to see more footage from the world's most critical conflict zones. Stay informed, stay engaged, and we'll see you next time on Iron Pulse Media.